We are planning to sail 400 miles to the Tuamotus, a group of coral atolls in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, to experience the incredible marine life, unspoiled beauty, and off-grid lifestyle. Circumnavigators have stated this was the worst passage of their entire world voyage, and unfortunately, this trip turns out to top our worst journey list as well. Winds gusting to 37 knots, sustained at 27 for over 12 hours with 10 to 12 foot seas. Plus, we need to perfectly time our arrival after a 3-day passage to enter the atoll at low slack tide to avoid 9-foot standing waves and a 5-knot current against us. Join us for the adventure we didn't see coming. Good morning. Today we have a big day. Tomorrow we want to sail to the Tuamotus. It's 400 nautical miles, and so today we need to provision, get more fuel, change the zincs, and change the oil in both engines. I don't know if we're setting ourselves up for failure because that's a lot, but we'll see what we can get done. And it's raining. Hopefully it won't last long. After a quick ride in, we walked into a bustling fish market. Huge slabs of fresh-caught tuna is an unbelievable bargain here at just $3 to $4 a pound.
Are you in line to buy or? Oh.
Wow. All of this is going on before 7 in the morning, so these guys probably have been up all night fishing. I'm gonna go check out the veggie market because Fabio's in line for the tuna because we clearly haven't been able to catch fish. Just a 2-minute walk away and I have scored big time. The cargo ship must have just arrived with tons of fresh produce. And this pumpkin is $15. Boy, do I miss Panama prices. And the eggs are $10. I saw eggs for $12 yesterday, so I guess that's a bargain. Oh well. At least they have food. These are $2.50, the bok choy, so that's actually pretty good. This is this morning's haul, and it came out to $70. Meanwhile, back at the dock, it was Fabio's turn, and we picked up a beautiful piece of tuna.
Okay, 7 kilos.
Back to the boat with our haul. Away our fruit here, lots of pamplemousse, breadfruit that we need to cook, actually mango, starfruit. Then in here Fabio is processing the tuna. Yum.
Hopefully we'll catch some, but
I know. Our luck hasn't been great. Got our eggs in here, 72 eggs, some jam, our bok choy in here that we're gonna process. We're pretty good, just gonna go to the store and get maybe some cheese and beer and wine. The bugs here are insane. I don't know what happened. It wasn't like this the last time we were here, but now they're everywhere. And I think they bite. I think they're the no-see-ums. Whoa. Them in here, they're attracted to fresh water, and when we wash dishes, fresh water leaks down that way. The last diesel run. Run number 3. The only way to carry diesel tanks when they're empty. fuel station doesn't allow the use of phones or cameras due to the batteries, so we couldn't film. You got this down pat, huh?
Yeah.
Look at you.
You got it.
If you're enjoying this video, give it a thumbs up, leave us a comment down below, and be sure to subscribe to the channel.
Ready?
It really helps us out.
What?
My foot is stuck in the rope.
Dear. Okay.
We'd heard there wasn't going to be fuel available in the Tuamotus for the next few weeks, so we figured it would be best to fill up. Plus, having the tanks full reduces the amount of condensation collecting in the tanks, leaving less chance for diesel bug to grow. We're adding some of this biobore to the diesel to prevent microbial growth. Fernando, who was in our videos, he was with us on the passage. He's a chief engineer, and he highly recommended we use this, so we're using it.
Next up, changing the oil.
Now that we've done it a number of times, Fabio is able to change the oil quite quickly. Next mission is to go to a store to get some dry goods, of course the essentials like wine and beer because we didn't bring enough from Panama. Silly move, silly move.
Bring from Panama.
Yeah, seriously, it's much cheaper.
A third of the price.
At least, yeah, because beer in Panama is like, you can get Balboa, I don't know, for like 75 cents, 65 cents, whatever it is. And here it's like $3.50 on the cheap end.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right, let's go.
Whatever.
We have to walk to the store, and then it's probably like a 20-minute walk, right?
Yeah.
And then they say you can get a ride back with the somebody from the shop. Made it. Limited fresh food, but lots of canned items and other dry goods. Some products are subsidized, like this guy. This rice, the prices are in red and they're cheaper. This was the best supplied store we'd seen in Nuku, Hiva. A good selection of Asian food since Chinese comprise 30% of the French Polynesian population. All right, last task of the day is changing the zincs. I probably would have called it quits, but Fabio somehow has the energy. He's trying to change them on breath. Awesome job, Fabio! Woo!
Ah!
We did it!
Yeah. So easy.
You were really clutch in the end, you know.
No.
Yes, I was giving up. But we actually did it. We got everything that we wanted to do done, and tomorrow morning we're just gonna go for a quick garbage run to see if there's anywhere we can bring the oil, the dirty oil, and the rest of our garbage, and then head out. It's about 400 miles. We're going to Raroia first because it appears to be we're going to Raroia first because it appears to be the closest Tuamotu that we can get into. And we just checked the tides. It looks like the tides are going to be at low slack around 5:30 p.m., which is going to be just before sunset, and it looks like we'll be arriving maybe just before that time, but yeah, so everything looks good. So cheers.
Cheers. We're good. We're good.
A huge thank you to our patrons. We are so grateful for your support. If you'd like additional content and real-time updates, consider joining the Harbors Unknown community on Patreon. Last night we looked at the weather again, and it looks like actually Sunday was going to be a bit better day to leave because the winds are a bit light today. So we decided that we would sail 30 nautical miles to Wapu, I think it's pronounced, and anchor there overnight. And then on Sunday morning, tomorrow, take off early for the Tuamotus.
It's quite fantastic. We have 13 knots of wind. We're doing between 8 and 9 knots of speed with an apparent wind angle of 73. The true wind angle is 102. It's just the most pleasant way of transportation. This is like, we have about 2/3 of dagger boards down. The sails are well trimmed. This boat sails like a charm. Not having a pilot is, in days like today, is not a problem. I mean, I love holding the wheel, feeling the wind. It's just spectacular.
The winds were forecast to be light, but these were fantastic sailing conditions. Strangely enough, it didn't enter our mind to take advantage of this weather and simply continue on to the Tuamotus. We were looking forward to checking out Wapu, as we'd heard its dramatic basalt peaks made for a stunning anchorage. And we hadn't calculated what time we'd need to arrive at the Raroia Pass if we continued sailing. Looking back, it may not have been the best decision. Soon enough, we were approaching Wapu, and it was as beautiful as we'd heard. The skyline changed from moment to moment as the clouds moved across the peaks, but I had to take the wheel as we were approaching the anchorage and needed to drop the sails. The anchorage was quite small, but we found a spot amongst the other vessels. Once set, I continued filming the island. I just couldn't get enough. That was a beautiful sail.
What an epic sail.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And the backdrop, oh my God, when we arrived, this island is just beautiful.
Jurassic Park.
I know, it's so dramatic.
It's awesome.
Yeah, what a day.
I'm glad we made the choice to stop here.
Me too.
On the way.
Mm-hmm.
We'll leave early in the morning, and hopefully the wind is like this or maybe a little stronger.
Yeah.
And this was nice. I mean, because 12, 13 knots of wind, we're doing 8, 9 knots consistently. So it's nice. I enjoy it.
Awesome. Let's get some lunch.
Yeah.
After eating, we hopped in the dinghy to explore the island a bit. Wow. Look at that rock. It's so cool. Oh my God, goats.
Yeah. Goats everywhere.
Goats up there.
Huh? Look at this.
This is incredible.
This is incredible.
The rocks are just glowing.
Yeah.
I mean, the time of day couldn't be better. Wow. It was as if we were walking through a fairy tale village with flower-lined yards, banana, mango, coconut, and breadfruit trees everywhere, and the sweet scent of gardenias filling the air. Here we had found good water and good people. They had shared their island and their fruit. We recognized this speck of land was a magical place. But Wanderlust is not meant for the harbor, she is built for the sea. And there are many seas, many lands to explore. The sun was setting on Wapo, on Yoda, on Wanderlust, and we watched the sky go dark. Good morning, everyone. We are leaving Wapo kind of reluctantly because this place is such a gem, and we're super excited to be going to the Tuamotus, but we've really enjoyed our time here in the Marquesas. It's a magical place, so we've been fortunate to be able to spend a good amount of time here. So let's go. Hello, Delfine. Oh, baby. Oh, the family. Wow. You guys are cute. It's always so amazing to see dolphins, and that was really sweet because it was you could tell it was a family with a mama and her baby. Oh. Beautiful. We're off!
We're off.
When we set out, we know the destination, the coordinates, the compass bearing, but we are blind to the unexpected magic, the different pulse of life, the eyes we meet, the unspoken bonds. It's the lure for our soul, each place a new secret. As soon as we cleared the island, we pointed Wanderlust southwest and pulled out the screecher. Then we trimmed the main by releasing the port sheet to let the sail out and winched in the starboard sheet. With a apparent wind of almost 20 knots, we were making 9-10 knots. Sails are set, we're on our way. We started out with the screecher, but the winds were, apparent wind was like 18, 19, 20, which is really pushing the limits of that sail. So instead of always kind of being on edge, we furled that, pulled out the jib. Our speed went down a bit, but that's okay. We don't have to stress. We're doing, 6-7 knots, and it's great. Well, the screecher's back up. The wind died a little bit, went down. It's now, like 16 apparent, 15, 16 apparent. So we pulled the screecher back out, and we're now going 9.5? Yeah, 9.7. So as long as it stays like this, we're golden. Better, right?
Much better. The boat is easier to handle, more balanced.
We have just been chugging along all day, going between 8 and 10 knots, and it's been great. The swell has been a bit big, probably between 6 and 8 feet, but looks like we are going to get wet soon. We lucked out and got a beautiful rainbow instead. But the rain squalls all around us indicated unstable weather. Evening approached and we continued our 2-hour shifts, which is what we do when hand steering. It's pretty grueling after a few days, but early in the trip, it's okay. Night turned to day, and it's pretty cool how sunrise was the exact opposite of sunset, including the direction of the clouds. The sails were so well balanced I could steer with my feet while Wanderlust sped along at 9 knots. Fabio took over the helm and we continued cruising along. Time slows, the weather sets the pace, unhurried, scary and terrible, calm and maternal. It has definitely been a boisterous trip so far. We are 30 hours in and we have 210 miles to go. Our average speed has been 7.1, our top speed like 13.1, I think. So we've made really good speed today. Winds have been between 15 and 19 knots, true wind speed, and we've been making great time. Last night it was a bit different. The winds died down to like 3 knots and then they would suddenly go to 20 knots. And so we had a reef in the main and the jib out, no screecher. And we were super careful because we didn't want to take out the full main and then all of a sudden be hit with, 22 knots of apparent wind. So it was a little challenging because we were going really slow at some points, and we were tempted to pull up the sails, but just being me and Fabio, limited autopilot use, we can use it to do sail changes, and if we're going upwind and the sails are super balanced, then we can use it then as well, but we just like to be conservative. The apparent wind reached 23 knots a few times and was staying there pretty steady, so we furled the screecher and pulled out the jib and took a reef in the main.
Okay, so can you go in the wind a little more, okay?
Okay, I'm going to go into the wind a little more.
Yeah.
To reef the main, Fabio has to first bring the boom to center by releasing the starboard sheet and winching the port sheet in. Then tightens the topping lip just a bit to ensure the boom doesn't fall in the bimini when the halyard is slackened. Then he puts the main halyard on the winch to release it a little bit.
That's the lowering.
Okay.
Go in the wind.
Okay. I'm in the wind. There's a sewn mark on the halyard indicating the position of the first reef. Next, the first reef line is wrapped on the winch and Fabio uses the control at the helm to tighten the first reef. Then he takes the first reef line off the winch and tightens the halyard of the main.
That's it, go back.
Go back, yeah?
Then Fabio winches the starboard sheet in to bring the sail out to the proper trim.
Say it again?
Yeah.
And the wind is forecast to be 21, 23 knots true tonight, and it will be forward of the beam, so our apparent wind will be even higher. So going into the night, we just like to be extra cautious, and we do have rainstorms all around us, and we were told to expect rain, so it'll slow us down, but right now we're still going 9 knots.
Yes.
The beauty of sunset at sea never gets old, but tonight it was cut short by clouds and rainstorms that moved in, an indication of what was in store.
I'm gonna turn on the engine. What?
We took 2 reefs earlier in the evening, but now winds had climbed to 27 knots sustained, so we wanted to take the 3rd reef. The wind was howling and the rain we had seen at sunset had arrived. Fabio was bringing the boom to center and I started turning into the wind.
Still at a broad reach.
This is always nerve-wracking in high winds and heavy seas because the wind speed increases as you get closer to pointing and the boat bashes into the waves.
Almost. Okay.
Fabio released the halyard slowly to decrease the sail area while I kept the boat pointed into the wind. Our 3rd reef is a single line, so Fabio has to go up front to the mast to secure the reef at the luff. It always makes me anxious, but I try to keep my nerves at bay because it is so important to keep a cool head in these situations.
The boom is banging on the coast roof. The boom.
It was so difficult to see, we hadn't tightened the topping lift enough, so when the halyard was slackened, the boom wasn't supported enough and was now banging on the coach roof, hopefully not damaging our solar panels. Now that everything else was situated, Fabio used the helm control to pull in the third reef line. I now had to come off the wind and return to our point of sail, once again going through the strongest wind and plowing into the waves. I reached down to turn off the engines, then relinquished the helm to Fabio.
We were just talking and we've decided this is the roughest passage we've ever had. Last night, Fabio, what did you see? The winds were 37.7 knots. We've had 25 to 27 knots sustained wind for over 12 hours now. And it's forward of the beam, so it's upwind. The waves are huge, probably 10 to 12 feet, some of them. Not what we were expecting.
As I look at this footage, it doesn't seem like 10 to 12 foot waves, but I guarantee you they were. As I attempted to capture this scene, I began to think of Thor Heyerdahl's story of the Kon-Tiki and how they stated every 13th wave is larger than the others, and used that to surf their raft over the reef at the very atoll we were sailing to. Suddenly, one of the waves was in fact larger and came crashing over me and our Sony camera. I have a hard time filming when I'm really upset, though I should have. Essentially, I wiped the camera down with fresh water and set it to dry, praying it would work properly, and tried to get some sleep. When I awoke, we were still getting bashed by waves. At this point in the journey, we had been alternating 2-hour shifts for over 48 hours, and fatigue had set in. All I could do was keep the boat on course.
So it's 11 at night. We arrived to Raroia, and we have about between 25 and 27 knots of wind. As you know, the entrance to Raroia is very complicated. So we decided to heave to. That's what we're doing now. The boat is moving about 1.5, 1.7 knots, and we're gonna stay here and wait until the morning.
Heaving to is a maneuver to stabilize the boat in heavy weather or rough seas, or to stop the boat. This creates stability and the boat drifts slowly.
Good morning. Fabio managed to hub to the boat last night so we could actually get some sleep. And so this morning we woke up around 5 a.m. and realized we really needed to skedaddle because we were 17 miles away from the opening, and the low tide slack, I believe, is at 8:09 a.m. and we're 17 miles away. So we're on our way there now. The sun is rising, and fingers crossed we'll get in with no drama. And good news, the camera is working, because not sure if you guys realize what happened yesterday, but I was trying to film the waves to show how big they were, and I got just totally drenched. The camera got wet, and so we were really afraid that the camera was going to be broken, but it appears to be working. Thank God. What's the good word?
Land ho!
Woo!
Yeah, we saw land about 6.5 miles away. Inside now, we're getting close with about five and change. Getting close to the entrance. We spent the night at, heaving to, and we move about 8 miles overnight, which is unbelievable. We're doing 1.5 knots. Great relief.
So as we mentioned before, the entrance to this atoll can be pretty tricky. People say not to enter with wind against current, and so that's the whole reason we spent the night at Heaving 2, because now the tide is going to be low and then going in. And we could only pull up the tide charts for the island that's 50 miles away, so it's not going to be super accurate, but we'll get there and kind of assess the situation, and hopefully we'll get in no drama. We have the tracks from another boat that went in, I don't know, a month or so ago, so if we follow those tracks, we should be good to go. You ready, Yoda? Yes! We're making the approach to the entrance now, so we're going to the GoPros.
I was up front keeping an eye out for reef or shallow water. You can see the crazy chop off to starboard over the shallow reef. When the conditions aren't optimal, the center of the pass is like this as well. We made it through unscathed with the boiling water behind us, but now we had to navigate across the lagoon safely without running into bommies, which are patch reefs that rise significantly from the seafloor to just under the surface. With the sun facing us, it was going to be nearly impossible to see them beforehand, so we had to stick exactly to the Navionics track on the phone. Join us next time as we make our way across the landmines to one of the most beautiful anchorages we've ever seen.